to interpret the dream of the 18th of Ramadan, 1444. One finds that the not overly categorized extends into those spheres, and yet further spheres, in a constructive way. From 2:10 to 6:46 a.m. on Monday the 10th of April, 2023, there was an assembly in 2 compartments, and the gray blocks fused into a single network. And see, you remain your own individual in the group, and that includes your construction of consciousness is to some degree unique when, compared with that of others. And the following night, there was a lot of animal sounds and stuff like this around the property, like more of a variety of animals than I have heard since that night, and more since probably at least October. So between 4:42 and 6:17 a.m. of Tuesday the 11th, there was a lightning-like filament and an extremely calm situation that silenced the scene. So, sort of different than what was going on earlier in the night, right? The extreme calm that silenced. Because very often we focus on noise in this society in particular, but if we go into the silence, it's so good for our health. That doesn't mean we blank our minds and let whatever goes through us go through us. No. Sunset that Tuesday certainly started the best 10 nights of Ramadan, and the night before didn't feel like it was one of the best 10. But 12:20 to 4:42 a.m. on Wednesday the 12th, amidst a variety of noises, a wide variety of noises, was a black stone colored with meandering patterns. A storm covered it with colored dust that left it color-coded when removed. The ground was gray afterwards, and so the color mixed, and yet it was gray after all. And the meandering patterns, one remembers all that megalith stuff where they encode information, sometimes brain patterns, sometimes star patterns, sometimes various things can be encoded in those meanderings. Between 12:22 and 5:14 a.m. on Thursday the 13th, held by ropes in a bright blue sky, a lump of weird metallic shapes was held up in the bare air. There were more types of metal in it than I could identify. It had all sorts of colors and stuff like that going on. And I'm reminded of the whole circle and dot and bars off to the side thing, representing the different concepts of deity, the furthest in, the furthest out, around everything in between. 2 perhaps representing duality, but rope as in the doctrine, the sacred revelation, the path, the inner and the outer side of it. Metal, of course, being use, something that humans have to accomplish. Now, I know there's metallic things in nature, but you know what I mean. Metal being processed. Between 2:22 and 4:52 a.m., there was a fence around a place as vast as a city. A soft, pleasant grass filled the space within the fence. A red seed with a smell like a resin was sprinkled everywhere within, too. I can't say which had the strongest scent. And, well, sometimes it doesn't matter what is stronger or better in this way or that, because each thing's of itself. But I'm reminded of a vision I had in Masjid Al-Nur in Vancouver, Washington. That building with the pink carpet and stuff like this. There was this otherworldly grass and seed, and it was like nothing I experienced in this world, and this was sort of the same thing. Now, the fence can be the terms, but the bounty, the softness of the bounty, I remember some of the stuff in the Vedas and stuff about some of these things. The use of sacred grass and providing an atmosphere. Between 4:26 and 6:23 a.m. on Saturday the 15th of April, in between a leather whip of 14 straps and a rope of 88 strings, I stood on black sand. As soft white clouds descended low, I held the goat hair rope on the right and the goat leather whip on my left as I went from horizon to horizon. So sometimes I go on these vast journeys in my sleep, and I don't really have much detail. Now, 14 and 88 are important numbers, and some people, I guess there's been some bad use of that, you could say, but that's not what I intended. I've gone into that elsewhere. But goat is the thing of the leader. There's sacred threads that Hindus and Yazidi and Zoroastrians and all sorts of people use. And sometimes there's particular numbers that these straps and ropes and all that stuff are composed of. Sometimes there's not. Between 3:36 and 6:07 a.m., the moos of cows were heard as a gray building of 9 rooms per row column was built, and the dyed animal products around the building eventually blew away, or washed away with rains. Was this the Easter, or was the previous Sunday the Easter? Well, there's the regular Easter and the Orthodox Easter, which kept the old tradition, even though their calendar had been slipping. Oh, it was a 9-story, so it was 9 by 9 by 9. And of course, in Buddhism, we have this idea of that is kind of confirmed by modern science of this 1.5 times your height. By 1.5 times your height, by 1.5 times your height is the one of the physical bodies that you're supposed to, or the spiritual body or something that you're supposed to learn to work with or obtain. Between 3:40 and 5:40 a.m. on Monday the 17th, broken glass was smoothed and gray as it was pressed among the sounds of goats and sheep. It was like they could talk to each other. Now, of course, one knows a goat is a symbol of a leader, a sheep is a symbol of a follower. We definitely have both those things going on, and the glass becoming gray as it pressed together is, again, taking away this focus on difference. Because things are what they are.